Hello, everyone. This is JPL, and today I'm joined with
Christopher.
yes, and we are podcasting
Podcast
in
name
brackets.
in brackets.
Hello, Christopher. How are you doing?
I'm tired right now. It's been a week. Not a bad week. It's just been a week, doing things, but also being exhausted and not at the top of my energy game.
Tale as old as time.
Yes. Yes. How about you, John? How are you doing?
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, good.
How's your score coming along?
Well, thing about that is,
Uh-huh.
so yesterday I sent you a picture.
Oh yeah.
Me.
I asked for context and you gave me none.
I give you none because I was going to give it to you today.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I sent you a photo of me with like gauze and head wrap on my head.
Yep.
So I
And
tripped.
you're not wearing it right now.
No, I tripped yesterday and hit my head at work. And I was bleeding.
Wow.
Yeah, I had like a cut right here in the side of my head here. I hit the
Ooh.
corner of something. Like it was a time. Like I wasn't like writhing in pain. Like I was like, darn, hit my head again, because it happens all the time. But anyway, my buddy runs up, is like, hey, that was a nasty fall. I was like, are you fine? I was like, yeah, you're right. He's like, John, you're bleeding. I'm like, what? No, because like, you usually like check your head, but like, yeah,
Right.
I checked. It's like, oh gosh, there's blood.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dang it, I got blood in my hands. Like, I gotta go to the bathroom now just to clean it up. I don't want to go to get medical and all that other stuff.
Right.
And we cleaned it up. Fun times. Had to go like fill out an injury report.
Nice.
Got onto the thing. It wasn't that bad of a cut, but like it was still bleeding.
Still like this. Yeah.
And so like I didn't want to hold the thing on my head all day, so we just got the gauze.
Mm-hmm.
Gauze wrapped it around my head, and I took that photo and sent it to you. It's like, And so yesterday I was very much planning to be very productive.
Oof.
Then that happened, and this was early in the morning. Like after I spent the rest of my work shift just like sitting around just to make sure I didn't have a concussion, which I don't. I don't know how. I'm surprised I've never gotten one before. Because I hit my head so many times. It's just weird. So I go home.
You're built special.
I'm built special. I know. So I go home and I just slept the rest of the day. Because, woke up early, didn't have a lot of sleep. And it's like, I got an injury. I'm just going to sleep. And I did that.
So you slept.
I did. So like,
that was very productive. I'm so
proud of you, very productive,
John.
which means like my journey project was supposed to be due at midnight tonight. That's not done. That's not done. I was like planning on getting a lot of that done yesterday.
Right.
But like I wasn't up to it.
So are you able to say I was injured, I get more time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't really care about that, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay. It just means I have time to get it done right. So that's what we'll do.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was also gonna do other stuff, but
right.
That sucks. I mean, here's the thing. I'm like, yeah, sure, it sucks, but like, I kept a positive attitude. It's like, there I go tripping. That's gonna be talked about for a while now. I can't wait to show up to classes tomorrow and have my professors being like, John, you all right? Because like, we have to fill out an injury report form, and everyone gets that form. Everyone. Well, the heads get the form.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You're popular now.
I will be popular. Yeah.
Now you'll actually be acting in a play next semester.
I have a scar to prove it. Yeah. You still see it, but no more bleeding.
Good. Wow.
I'll come back next week.
After last semester and you sending me all your makeup stuff, I wasn't sure if it was a school thing
I was
or
like,
not.
Christopher, he's probably going to think this is like, oh, he has to go to the hospital again. Oh, John.
It's like, at first I was just like, school thing. And then later, yesterday or today, I'm like, that was last semester. This is not right. But I don't know. Could be anything.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
I do stuff like this all the time.
Yeah. And then not to mention, for me, a Saturday is a Friday. So might as well been a school day.
Yeah. And I gave you no context at all.
You gave me no context.
Because I was going to save it for this podcast.
Yes.
I'm such a good friend. I could have died.
You could have died.
After sending that
and you would have sent me no context.
And you would have gotten no reply.
You would have been just like a picture, a selfie of you just like laying in bed. I'd be
you would have found out
are
2
you
months
dead
later.
Or is that for a school project?
You would have found out 2 months later. Somehow.
Yeah.
When I didn't show up for our little get together.
Oh my gosh, that'd be sad.
Like you'll be like waiting at the movie theaters, like, where's John?
Yeah.
I
bought a ticket.
Where is he?
I wasted more than $15. So again, Thursday night, right?
The 5th?
Yeah, if it's the 5th, but Thursday night, opening night, or preview night.
Yeah.
Yes, just confirming, because tickets go on sale on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. It's happening in 1 month.
Happening.
1 month.
1 month, yes.
And a few days.
Let's hope I don't trip again.
Yeah. Does like Ryan Hippie and Judah Fox know you're coming yet? Are you going to surprise them?
I don't tell anyone anything, Christopher. I'm not in constant contact with them. I see what they do, but I'm not like, yo, what's up? I'm coming to you when we crash. I'm not one of those people.
Right. So besides those three, anyone else at Sight and Sound that you're aware of there?
Nobody knows I'm coming.
No, nobody knows you're coming. But I'm saying, is there anyone else you know at Sight and Sound that I'm not aware of that I can't think of?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So like, you can tell them.
I can tell them.
I'll assume you'll do that.
Yeah, I will probably tell them more like the week of.
That sounds fine.
Or even the show of.
Either way, they'll be like, what's John doing here? And that's the way I like it.
Yeah. I did tell Judah my mom was coming like a few days in advance.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're definitely like a show of kind of case. That's going to evoke the best reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have direct contact with Judah in the show this year.
That's fine.
Last year I did. Ryan hit baby Ashlyn. I probably would be able to as well. So Judah would be the hardest. I'd probably tell Ryan to tell Judah. I don't know. Yeah. It would be fun and exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah.
Current.
Unless you trip.
Unless I trip again.
Get a concussion.
Yeah. No, Greg.
Are you driving or taking the train?
I'm likely driving.
Okay, gotcha. All right, current what?
Well, first off, it's like, so Greg says, like, I'm the first of his workers to get injured. He's been there for
I was about to say.
He's been there for almost 10 years, and I'm the first one to get injured. So I'm forever noted.
I feel like you're also one of the most least likely people to get injured. Period. You know what I mean?
I know. It's like it was just so random. It's like I'm walking out of the orchestra pit. Oh, guess my body decides not to work. Trip, hit my head.
Also, you being audio, that just also makes it even more ironic.
It's like I wasn't even doing anything. Like God decided, let him trip.
This is so much funnier than it should be.
Show him how easy it is to die. It is so easy to break your skull. My goodness. Like I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I'm fine. John, you're bleeding. No, I'm not.
Like, what? Bleeding? Gosh darn it. That's not a sight you want to see.
Well, then stop me those pictures. Hey, Christopher, look at this. I cut myself. I'm not going to the hospital because that was a part of school project. John, you need to go to the hospital. Nope, it's makeup. Well, I didn't know that.
Right.
Oh, you obviously didn't want to see this. Yeah, I obviously didn't.
Right. So like it's a thing. You know, getting your skull cracked is pretty serious business. That's the only thing I had to worry about. If I was gonna bleed to death.
Oh my gosh.
Like, is my brain not working? I don't know. Normally isn't, but who knows?
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I sent CJ the photo. He's like, John, I told you not to let the fame go to your head. Didn't listen. So in recent news,
yes,
something that's going on right now on Reddit is called r/place.
Okay.
Which is pretty much where there's a canvas, and every 5 minutes you are allowed to put 1 pixel on that canvas and create something. So pretty much this is every Reddit subgroup. It comes together, organizes to create art. They did this 5 years ago, and like it was successful. So they're doing it back right now.
Did they actually make a coherent piece of art?
Yes. It's
wow.
It's very impressive. So that's going on right now. It'll be done tomorrow. But like not only do you have to create this coherent piece of art, you have to defend it from other subreddits.
Okay,
and
so
you have
there are a handful of subreddits doing this, you're saying?
A lot. Everyone on Reddit's doing this.
Okay, so it's not just r/place.
I mean, r/place is where you go.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Everyone else is contributing to that. So then you have like people specifically trying to grief other arts and do stuff. So right now, like the Brony community is coming together, and like this is the most I've heard them talk about things in a long time. That's exciting, because like last time they successfully got a piece of art there. There's a whole video on the history of that warfare. It's quite fun. But yeah, right now they're trying to keep going. There's a couple major pieces of art that they got there that looks really nice. However, they're being bullied really hard by streamers. Streamers with thousands of people that raid their artwork and destroy it in a matter of seconds. But they keep coming back because there's hundreds of people trying to. But like it's a big struggle right now. Right. They've been raided over 30 times to the point where all the work is gone, but they have to keep coming back afterwards. And these streamers are specifically doing it to the Brony people, which is sad. But I don't know. I don't know why they waste their time with such frivolous things. If I look at things right now, we're still going strong, but whenever Twitch streamers say, let's destroy this, they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the worry is that if they wait to the last second, they could ruin days of work of trying to keep it together. So that's the main concern. And we got screenshots of what we have so far, and it looks cool.
Good. Wow. The concept itself is really cool.
It's really cool. There's a lot of fun stuff on there. There's some inappropriate stuff as well, because, of course, it's not... They don't restrict that stuff. But, it's a lot of great artwork and communication. And lots of bots. Bots are very helpful.
How do you feel like this is going to impact the future of the Brony community? Is it?
I'd say we'll
unify you guys,
I'd say there'd probably be the next few weeks chatter and artwork about it, and then we'll be quiet. We'll be quiet until the next big thing happens, because that's how it goes.
That makes sense.
That's how it goes.
That makes sense.
We're way past our prime right now, so it's nice to have this attention, but
So, did you watch anything on PureFlix this week?
I did. So nothing like movies, but I watched a few episodes of a show called AD, The Bible Continues.
Oh, that continuation of what was that called? It was a continuation of some show, right? The Bible? Is it called The Bible?
I don't know if it's an exact continuation of that show, but it has similar production value.
Okay.
Sure, it's well made. I'm in the first 4 episodes. I'm not gonna finish it before my thing expires, that's for sure. But as usual, there are some inconsistencies. It's I don't remember that. Oh,
is this arguably the best thing you've seen on PureFlix?
Arguably the most well made of the more recent things I've seen, because that came out in 2020. So,
dang, it's only 2020.
That's cool. I'm glad that they're focusing on something that isn't really shown a whole lot of, because a lot of the focus is on either Jesus' story or just Jesus' story. So here we get to tell stuff afterwards, which is cool. You don't get to see a whole lot of that.
Well, now one of these days we'll need a comparison from you comparing this AD versus the Chosen one of these days.
Yes. To be honest, I'm not all that. I'm not what do I call it? Invested in all the characters, because I know what's gonna happen. It's I'm waiting for them to get to these points in history. Pilot is in the show a lot.
Okay.
I'm didn't know he did that.
I feel like that'd be intriguing, honestly.
Right, but I'm also is this true, or what is this? Do they have evidence to back this up? Because Caiaphas' wife is a major character in the show, very influential, and I'm is that true? Because women weren't really regarded to have much of an opinion, and she's very opinionated to her husband. Peter has a daughter.
Okay.
Did we know this? Maybe, but that was interesting.
Because I feel like if a show is really to take liberties, it should be obvious.
I feel like the timeline of the show also doesn't really match up all that well. Because, like, events are happening very quickly. So, like, Jesus meets with all 12 disciples very quickly. There isn't... They don't ever show the one where two of them are walking to Jerusalem, and Jesus just walks with them, and they didn't notice. They don't do that. Instead, they're already there, and Jesus appears, except for Thomas.
Thomas, not my fault.
And I imagine those sequences very differently. But here it's like, it's all in the span of a day. They are including like some apologetics material where it's like, they're trying to point out this whole theory. It's like, sure, kind of on the nose. But you know, it's enjoyable. Sure.
Okay.
I'm watching it.
So has it just been that show or anything else?
It's just been that show on Pureflix. I will say, like, the actor for Peter looks so much like another actor I know. That's like, he could play that guy, and it'd be cool. So, yeah. Other than that, what have I watched? More Kids Next Door, because that's a fun show. That's a really fun show.
What, Kids Next Door?
Yeah, codename Kids Next Door. It's a really fun cartoon.
Okay. That's not on Pureflix.
No, that's on HBO Max. I really enjoy that show. It's been fun. I've also been doing other things, but that's the main one. Yes. We'll say that for now.
Okay.
Anything new from you?
No, I was really focused on the 21 Pilots video, which, by the way, if you're freaking 21 Pilots fan, go watch it because I need views. Thank you. Last night I watched the third episode, the Magneto episode in the X-Men animated show.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. I forget when the Olivia Rodrigo special released on Disney Plus. I think that was last week. So I watched it last week, and then I watched it again last night with a friend.
Did you see Moon Knight?
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did. Not bad. So here's a few thoughts, I guess.
Okay.
One of my friends, you know the crowd. We've talked about said crowd. The crowd that, loved the MCU, then obviously started to compare the MCU a lot with other movies, saw the weaker aspects of the MCU, and essentially hates the MCU, but will still watch anything the MCU releases, kind of person, right?
Yeah.
So one thing he said about the MCU is like, I hate the Office type cinematography. Like, what? I mean, I know the MCU cinematography is basic 95% of the time, but it's not like The Office, right?
I mean, except in WandaVision, no.
Right. I mean, obviously, WandaVision is what WandaVision is, but
yeah,
there were actually at least one scene near the beginning that had that feel of like that. It was smoother and not as jarring as like The Office, but it was that weird zoom in on. There was one point where our character like picks up a box. For some reason, the camera zooms into the box and then kind of zooms out, like kind of would on The Office. Slower and not as close in, but still that idea. And I'm like, interesting. You know what I mean? That's the closest I've seen the MCU come to, quote, The Office kind of cinematography. I think my friend is over exaggerating, but like
yeah,
I think it's also kind of a bit of contrast they were deliberately trying to do, and I say deliberately lightly, but to when there's the more intense sequences, there's a more intentional feel of the cinematography compared to
correct.
man in normal life. But it was still a little jarring, I would argue. I think like it was a fun presentation of an episode. My hopes, regardless, I'm still trying to hold them at bay. In general, like I've said, with the MCU, I'm just trying to just go in with no expectations, nothing high, nothing low, and which is hard to do, right? Because honestly, with everyone being excited for Moon Knight, increased a little bit of my anticipation, right? Sure. Obviously, we're excited for Doctor Strange. Obviously, yada yada yada, whatever products, you know what I mean? But I still want to keep myself at bay. You know, again with Loki, we had like a great first episode, a pretty good second episode, a terrible third episode, an amazing fourth episode, a terrible fifth and sixth episode. You know what I mean? Every single episode is different. So I want to try to remind myself of that. Here's the biggest thing. I don't know if you know this, but at least one of the writers for Moon Knight was one of the writers for the 2015 version of Fantastic Four.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's another thing. Not that I have seen that movie, but I've obviously heard things. So even more so, I'm trying to keep myself at bay.
I mean, I don't blame the writers for that movie. It was definitely the studio who got involved. So, you know.
But they still have had some part. I don't know history, but they have that tarnished to their name, unfortunately.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. So hopefully Moon Knight will deliver. A friend looked at a few reviews, sent a few to me, and I think Rotten Tomatoes right now, most critics got between 2 to 4 episodes. Most of them 4. 75%. There's a few, you know, who don't feel like it's as strong as it could be, which is, I guess, normal. So again, I'm trying to keep it manageable. I'm just kind of like I'm gonna eat, but again, I think it was a strong first episode. If the rest of the series,
from what the small things I've seen, I think this is probably the better of the openings of the Disney Plus shows.
I mean, better than Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye, yeah. I would say, because there's enough mystery in this episode for you to be like, let me watch the next episode, despite there not being a cliffhanger for the next episode.
And plus, actually, it ends with like your main character properly appearing. Yeah, and it's like, now we want to see more of this guy.
I will say though, because I feel like Disney likes to capitalize on their cliffhangers.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised there wasn't one, and so hopefully there'll be enough people to return to the second episode. You know what I mean? Because sometimes if there isn't that much of a cliffhanger, people aren't as much.
I think that was a good spot at the end of the episode, though. That would have been.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. I just wonder, like, from due to the way they release it, you know, like if the second episode was right there, I'd be like, okay, I'm intrigued to see what's gonna happen. But because it's not like, oh my gosh, Yelena appeared, why is she in here? Oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next episode kind of moment, you know?
Right.
You have to be really like, oh, I'm intrigued in this mystery. I don't know what's going on. Despite there not being a cliffhanger, I must remember to watch the next episode on Wednesday. That's what I'm saying. So that's not necessarily negative. It's just an observation. But also that can be a typical first episode, but I don't know. Just thoughts. Speaking of release stuff, Disney decided to do something weird with Obi Kenobi.
Right, yeah, I was going to get to that. So, they pushed the date back 2 days.
Not back, forward.
Yeah, you push back.
Is that pushing back? Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah, 2 days. To the
My
27th
bad.
instead of the 25th.
The 25th would have been the 40th anniversary of A New Hope.
45th.
45th?
Yeah.
I thought it was 40th.
40th is 2017.
Okay, point is
yes.
Anniversary date. And they said, let's push it back.
2 days. However, you're going to get 2 episodes.
And then
What?
The rest of the series airs on Wednesdays, not the freaking Friday.
Huh.
I know.
So then the 3rd episode comes sooner?
On Wednesday.
Okay.
No, how about that?
So I know more. And I think I know why they pushed it back.
Okay.
Because the weekend of the 27th is something called Star Wars Celebration. It's a convention, the big convention.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that they pushed it back so they can premiere it at the convention as well. Instead of having it premiere the day before.
Okay.
Where people were likely traveling to the convention. So
that's interesting.
I think it makes sense. Like, once I know that the convention is at that time, it's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But it's still like,
what if the first episode premiered on the 25th, and at the convention you screened the first episode on the big screen, which everyone loves, and then also the second episode for kicks?
And they could do stuff like that. Because they're going to show stuff there as well. They're going to show more stuff there. Mm-hmm. Maybe another episode, maybe a different show. Who knows? But we're getting stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, again, that's what I saw about the Obi Kenobi show of the weird release. Like, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I legitimately saw, oh, that's awesome. They decided to move Star Wars to Fridays and keep Marvel at Wednesdays. And then it said, nope, the following episodes will be on Wednesday. I'm like, what? Weird.
Yeah, I do prefer Star Wars on Fridays. Mm-hmm. Like, those I felt were better to me. But, like, sure, Wednesdays. Whatever.
Here's the thing. We're probably going to have more overlap as time goes on with the release of these shows. I mean, currently we have Miss Marvel and Obi. Like, this is probably not going to be the last time we're going to have overlap. Why not you just accept
Miss Marvel and Obi are coming out at the same time?
Yeah, I think Miss Marvel releases in June. Unless, because of the 2-episode premiere, it gets out of its way. I haven't done the math.
So, like, when is Miss Marvel coming out? That's a good question.
Are you looking that up now?
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, you do it.
Okay, it comes out June 8th. Let me do this math here. No.
Wait. You said June 8th?
Yes. There is lower. Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely heavy overlap.
There's overlap.
That's freaking heavy overlap. That's at least like 3 weeks of overlap. Are you kidding me?
Less people are definitely going to be watching that show. But
yeah, seriously. You keep Marvel at Wednesday. You keep Star Wars on Friday.
Now, this doesn't mean that they won't do Star Wars on Friday later, closer to the date. But
why not you start now? That's my thing.
I don't know. That it's all a thing. Anyway, they released the runtime for Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
2 hours.
And
6 minutes.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, the exact same runtime as Iron Man.
Yeah. You know, it's slightly concerning.
Really?
It's concerning about like what this story is gonna be.
Okay.
Because like from the stuff we see in the trailer, there might be too much that they're trying to do. Like Spider-Man was rapid fire.
Especially the first 20 minutes.
It was rapid fire, and that was like 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Like this is the multiverse of madness. This is supposed to be bigger than Spider-Man.
Right.
With all these cameos.
Mm-hmm.
2 hours. Pretty much the same length as Justice League, and we all know how that turned out.
I'm seriously starting to wonder, are we making this movie out to be too big?
I mean, we'll see. Maybe Raimi has such a really tight script. Who knows?
I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, they shoot a lot, and then they cut a lot.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's more like he found the way to make the movie tight than a tight script. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But still, like, I mean, obviously, like, this doesn't necessarily help or hurt my enthusiasm. But increases my intriguement.
Sure.
Also, the first Doctor Strange didn't even hit 2 hours.
Right.
That too. Yeah, no, I'm starting to really think that we've made this movie out to be too bigger than it might be.
Well, like they advertised it like it's the multiverse of madness. That's a big deal.
Oh, that's the freaking title.
That's the freaking title. Heck, you have What If preparing us. You have Spider-Man preparing us.
Mm-hmm.
You have Patrick Stewart in the trailer preparing us for what's to come. Even though they're not.
If you have Patrick Stewart in the trailer, what's going to be bigger than Patrick Stewart?
I think we have. I don't know if it's been confirmed. Hugh Jackman.
I significantly doubt that. Personally,
I think that there were leaks.
I personally doubt that. What I'm saying is, like, you know, we had the villains tease, you know, Doc Ock in No Way Home trailers. So if Patrick Stewart is our trailer tease,
mm-hmm.
what's our Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire for this movie? If we're gonna get one,
right?
If you, I wonder. Goodbye, brother.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the character to bring in. Although I don't think that would give us as great as a reveal. Because most people would be like, "Who that?"
Yeah. Or groans. No, like, there'd be a few cheers.
You imagine, like, huh? You can imagine just how less a reaction that Daredevil got in Spider-Man, and then imagine Inhumans, which less people have seen.
Yeah.
No one's reacting to that. 1 or 2 people will be like, "Oh," but I doubt they'll be cheering.
Right. We'll see. I'm just trying to manage my expectations at this point, I feel.
Right. So that stuff's happening.
With Daredevil, though. So this is something interesting.
Okay.
Yesterday, on the official Marvel website,
Mm.
they have like a on-screen bio for characters. Because we have characters in the comics and then we have the characters on screen. So like they have like bios for the characters who've been on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for Daredevil, they have the Marvel TV show information. And then yesterday, people found out that they added on to that his appearance in No Way Home. Making Twitter go, oh my gosh, Daredevil Defender shows are canon. Only for only for Marvel to remove the No Way Home stuff today.
Yeah.
Here's again my thing. I have no issue with enjoying Daredevil in tandem with the MCU. That's all.
Right.
That's all. That's kind of it. I don't think it's canon, but I highly recommend enjoying Daredevil and shows with the MCU.
I think it
and
fits
the story
easier than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
because it has less interaction
Mm-hmm.
that destroys anything, except for maybe Iron Fist, because Iron Fist is pretty much Shang-Chi.
There was an article, a website that published an article about Iron Fist, and one person I follow retweeted it, which probably means there might be some truth to this.
Okay.
If this is true, this is a source I don't know if I trust or not. That's all I'm saying. But someone kind of backed it up, so maybe Iron Fist comes back for a cameo and kind of passes his role on to the girl in the show.
Explain that again. What are we talking about?
Mr. Iron Fist, same guy,
Yes.
actor.
Yes.
Comes into the MCU.
Okay.
For a cameo of some sort.
Okay.
And passes his role on to the girl. Making...
What girl?
The Asian girl?
From Shang-Chi?
No. It had to be Iron Fist or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or...
From
something.
Iron Fist?
I don't know names. Thing is, so what was interesting is that this girl was asked to be in Shang-Chi, and she said, no, I want to see if I can continue playing this character.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. If that happens, I find that very intriguing because they obviously, if they do that, they obviously don't want to completely non-canonize the Netflix shows.
They're not going to do that.
Why not they do that?
Because they already did that.
Oh, did they already do that?
In the show.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's how the show. That's how the show ends.
But I could imagine the MCU being redundant that way.
They could. They totally could.
Yeah.
It's so confusing. Like the show ends with him passing the power onto her.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's an end credit scene where he has the power again.
Interesting.
And we're like, hey, check this out. Season 3 that's never gonna come.
Right.
And I would actually be interested in seeing that season 3.
Right.
For Iron Fist.
Yeah. I guess this is my thought. Because we know you've told me stories like the Captain Marvel thing with Endgame, that Feige and crew watches the fans, gauges their reactions, and creates content based off our reactions.
Yes.
And adjusts stuff as needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if this is not specifically Iron Fist, but just the Netflix shows in general, of kind of just the characters more or less, horror shows, like while not directly accepting them as canon, playing the fine line of they're in the MCU, but whatever. I wonder, you know what I mean? You kind of know what I mean?
Sure.
Because obviously, like, they're like, okay, Kingpin's good, and let's keep the actor, Daredevil actor, and we'll see if that will continue. I don't know, because I wonder if I'm pretty positive Kevin Feige's pride is, maybe that's the wrong terminology, but I'll just go along with it. Pride is too strong to accept the Netflix shows as canon, but he's obviously playing off their success. But also, like, I'm really curious, like we've said, Daredevil's revival that's rumored / I believe will happen. Like, you know, how much of a soft reboot is it going to be, or continuation or not? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just entertained. I'm entertained by all this. So I have my thoughts on things. Yeah, just people just enjoy the stuff. Enjoy the stuff. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. So also, there's said to be no edits with the Netflix shows, except for removing Netflix in the credits. There were noted 2 edits. But not of the show, if you know what I mean. With the, what is it? One, probably the last episode of Punisher or something. They gave tribute to Stan Lee because he died, right?
Yes.
Like a little in memory, they cut that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in, was it Luke Cage, the actor, the pastor, they had the in memory of, and they cut that too.
Well, that's weird.
Yes. So those are our only edits of the shows.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, you know, maybe the theory is they gave them raw copies, which did not include those things, which would likely happen last-minute additions. And that's just me making this up. That's a
fair assessment.
That's like me trying to be fair.
Right.
Also,
I have an update with the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing.
Okay, thing.
So, did we talk about that on the podcast?
Which thing?
Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Which thing?
Oh wait, you're not aware of this?
I don't. It depends. What is it?
Okay. Fans noted that Episode 3 Falcon and Winter Soldier was edited to remove blood / gore. You did not know about this?
No.
Okay, yeah. There's the scene when Zemo shoots the doctor, who had they're not vaccines, what serums.
Yes.
And then there's a shot of him dead on the ground with blood, right?
Right.
Then fans noted that now on Disney Plus, there's no blood and his eyes are closed in the shot. And then there's another shot when probably Sharon Carter is fighting people, or that scene. And there's one girl chasing. There's one girl who gets speared by a pole.
Mm-hmm.
And then the edit shows the pole bouncing off of her instead.
What?
Yeah. Now, obviously, my initial thought is, why for such split-second things were they edited? You know what I mean?
Right.
The famous bloody shield was not touched.
Of course.
Notably, also it being a different episode. We're talking about episode 3.
Right.
But there were such split-second moments of gore. If gore for MCU, that it was like, why don't you touch something else up, like the last episode where I can't see anything because it's all in the dark. But so anyways, really upset about this, which I just want to go off that one thing for a moment. Why are they upset?
See,
like,
I don't
why
like it when
do people have such gore fetishes?
It's not so much the gore fetish, it's like changing something.
Right. I mean, I get that, but it feels more like people have gore fetish, and that ticks me off.
I think it's more so people don't like things being censored for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if it was released without the gore, they wouldn't mind. But because they took the time to edit it out,
mm-hmm.
It's like, well, what are you doing?
Okay, but we do know that there's a general push for the MCU to go into R-rated territory.
Of course, but I don't think this is one of those instances.
Okay, but just in general, like I'm okay with, the MCU going down darker territory. I'm not okay with the MCU being like, hey, let's make everything like Punisher now. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a Punisher-based something, fair. But it's not like, let's make Infinity War Punisher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it seems like everyone wants everything to be Daredevil, Punisher, gore.
This is just weird. Like, I'm gonna make this assumption.
No, I actually have the answer.
Okay.
I'm just complaining about the gore thing right now.
Okay, sure.
That's all. Like, I don't get it. Like,
plus,
why do people?
That stuff wasn't even gory.
Right. What I'm just saying is, why do people like gore? I don't. Like, I'm pretty understanding about most things. Gore isn't one of them. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's hard for me to see, but legitimately, like, I don't necessarily have a problem with gore, if you know what I mean. I don't have a problem with something with gore in it. I just have a problem with people who love gore. I don't like that. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, so what happened is that they did not deliberately go back to censor. What happened is that they, with these episodes, they make different versions of certain things to meet foreign rating board requirements. Mm-hmm. So they had 2 alternate versions of said split-second scene, and they see how much they can push, and if they can't go that far, then they have a softer version. What happened is that they went back to edit the episode to fix a credit for accuracy. Something in the credits was wrong, and so they accidentally uploaded a version with pre-created censored scenes. So I don't Disney said that they'll fix
that makes sense. That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because my theory was like they got so many angry letters from parents. Because like it's happened before with other things. Ponies had that happen once.
Really?
Where a character had to be censored. Which was a whole big deal.
Huh.
I don't have time to explain it because it's a big thing. But the Cliff Notes is there's a character who has these derpy looking eyes, which was an animation error / Easter egg that the animators put in. The fans loved that. That became one of their iconic figures that they dubbed Derpy. So in one of those episodes, they decided, let's make this like an honor to the fans and name the character Derpy. Well, parents saw that and thought that they were making a joke about people who had like physical and mental disorders, which was an actual concern, and I can see how they got that mistake. And so Hasbro's like, oh crap, let's fix this. So they redubbed over the line, different actress, different performance. They cut the name.
Oh wow.
And then they kind of like slowly had the character not appear in the show.
Aww.
And so the character finally came back a few years later. But yeah, it was this whole thing.
Wow.
And I think I explained it all. But yeah.
You did it.
I did it. Thank you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yep. I find it interesting though. Like you would think when you have a finished product, it shouldn't revert to a previous version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But again, I was just a little like scenes are so split second. Like
right.
Like when I was like staring at the screenshot comparisons, I'm like, I almost wish they could keep the edited version. But when you watch the thing, it's just like, oh, it's only there for max 2 seconds. You don't even notice. Right. So it's just like, okay. I was just a little upset about fans wanting more. I am okay with why did they change the episode? That I'm okay with. You know what I mean? I understand that. I'm just like, why do people have such gore fetishes? That just, I don't know. Like, I do get it. Like, the MCU, like, is technically not very realistic. And so, in a general sense, I wouldn't be too mad if they made things a little more realistic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was almost the closest we got to something within the MCU. But like I just don't. If it's gonna go on full on Punisher for big events, I'm just like, no. You know what I mean?
Full on Punisher, that is a bit extreme.
I know that is a big extreme, but that
is a big extreme.
That some people want full on Punisher. Let's be honest. And now, I said like, oh, when I go through the MCU, maybe I'll watch through those shows, and now I'm second guessing myself.
Like Punisher is the one to second guess.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Probably like start Daredevil and think twice, or
right. Or you'd get to the point where someone gets beheaded,
right?
And then you start thinking twice. But
right.
Honestly, I don't think there's much more extreme than that. But sure.
How bad would it be to watch the first season of Jessica Jones before the first season of Daredevil? In your opinion, in terms of continuity, I know that's the wrong way. I'm just saying, how bad does it cross over?
I don't think too much for the first season.
Okay. I recognize it gets more crossy over.
Right. So, like, by the end of the last episode, you will have a character who, from that season, who will appear in season 2 of Daredevil. Oh, actually, no, never mind. There's one important character, specifically from Daredevil, that shows
Okay, so
up.
you think I should try Daredevil first?
You can watch that though, but the moment's gonna be like, oh, okay, they're from the other show. It's gonna be weird because it's supposed to be like, oh my gosh, what's that character doing there? And be like, the connections. But honestly, you can watch this whole show. It's just that one.
Well, we can talk about it when we get there.
Right, because the character changes, and it's like, you're watching that character from the beginning. It's, it doesn't matter. Honestly, do what you want.
It's gonna be a month or two out before
it's not that
it's
not that big a deal, really.
Okay.
But like,
I just feel like Jessica Jones would, because as far as I know, the violence in at least first season isn't as bad as Daredevil's first season, correct?
No.
Yeah. So I feel like,
but
building up,
I will say, it's much more intense.
Yeah, but it's not like I take the intensity over the gore any day.
Okay.
Like it's the visual aspect that gets me. Like obviously it's not to say that intensity doesn't affect me. It's just I hate seeing gore. That's my
thing. There's one moment that's definitely very like, oh, maybe a couple. But there's one specifically that comes to mind that reminds me of my trip. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, there's quite a few.
Jessica Jones?
Not as much as Daredevil, but like there's a couple like very, very intense ones.
Gore or intensity?
There's two moments of gore that comes to mind. One very explicit, one bloody.
Okay. Yeah, again, we'll get there when I get there. Like I said, it's the concept of Jessica Jones that intrigues me the most. Kind of
I'm excited. I'm more excited for you to see the villain for that show.
Okay.
Because he's probably my favorite MCU villain.
Right. You've hyped him up so much. I'm excited.
Part of it is because I love the actor.
Right.
I love the actor. He's one of my favorite actors. Yep. There's that. Anyway, we had some music.
Oh. Yeah, we wait all this time to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie mix.
Everything. Let me pull it up. I don't know how you'll feel about this, but I create the playlist on Spotify because I use Spotify,
Sure.
So I don't know if you feel mad about that, but
see, it'll become a problem later on.
For things so what I did with the pony, the Bionicle thing is that there are tracks I did listen on Spotify, and then the ones that weren't there I listen on YouTube. So
okay.
So I can do it, John.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's fine.
All right. Let's do our best. Now, let me read the thing you sent me.
Right.
Which kind of helped. You said part of something to think about is, what do you visualize when hearing this? How does it feel?
Yeah, and the part of this is that one of the things I do love about it is that whenever I listen back, sometimes I'll start visualizing just moments that I think could fit. Being part of a storyteller, that's how you start crafting different stories. And so, like, I could listen to something from Interstellar and start thinking, it's like, how could I put this music for like something else? And I start building the pieces for that. Overall, how do I feel about this? And so I was thinking, it's like, so how would you visualize this? Because if you don't know the context to this, what does it sound like to you?
Mm-hmm.
I know the context to all of this.
Right.
So I did my best to try, and I actually wrote down some things that I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay. So some of these I have better descriptions than others.
Right.
Also, I meant to write things down and I didn't, so I'm going off the top of my head, honestly. Like I said, the Superman, from which movie? So you can clarify.
Superman the movie.
From year
1976, I believe.
For people who are dumb like me.
78.
Getting for some reason hit my brain as Peanuts. Like, because I watched some like the older Peanut movies, and for some because they're probably around the same era and time of sound production release. And then I probably remember semblances of like the actual like main theme. By the way, name of track is Prelude and main title march.
Yes, and this is the specific version from the movie.
Yes.
Because like otherwise, the main title march is what people remember the most.
Right.
But I put the prelude in because I think it's a nice lead up to the march.
Honestly, the prelude sticks out more to me than the march.
It does, but the transition to the march is really what I look for in this one. That's why I chose this one specifically.
I guess also part of the thing is like I bet I could hear the march and be like, I think I know what that is, but it's also like I don't know the two so well that I know the transition. You know what I mean?
Like the march, besides Star Wars, the Superman theme is probably the most iconic theme out there.
Well, I honestly feel like the next one,
even more than that, actually.
Really?
I would say so. Yes.
I would almost feel like the James Bond theme.
Right, like, but James Bond doesn't really read to children as much as Superman does.
Fair.
So that's why I say that. But let's not debate that.
At least for me, the James Bond theme, like, oh, this is definitely familiar. How? Don't know. Familiar? Yes.
Okay.
Car chase music.
Anyway, any more thoughts on the Superman theme?
I kind of moved on to James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll talk about my notes later then.
Oh no. Okay, no. You talk about Superman then.
Right. Well,
go track by track. Let's go back.
Track by track.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Superman theme. My notes are a bit different for each one, but here's what I did. I started writing the notes as I was listening to the song. So the feeling I get is like, okay, prelude sets up the world. In that prelude, there's a moment where I felt like there's a yearning for something more. It's very quick. And then I wrote, suddenly something is coming. It's getting closer. It's arrived. It's Superman. And in the rest of the song, I feel that this is a force for good. Even without the context, it just sounds like, oh, this is a good thing. Ooh. And that's what I wrote for that.
You're good at this.
See, this is the first time I actually tried writing out my thoughts. It was very interesting.
I'm jealous. I don't feel like I'm always the best at writing or describing things. And then also, not to mention, it being instrumental music gets a little harder.
Also, part of this is I've seen the movie, so like...
there's also that too.
So like suddenly something is coming. It's getting closer. It's arrived. It's Superman. Like that's the movie thing. No need to worry. So James Bond.
Yes, iconic. Seems like car chase music.
Okay.
Like, but in a very iconic fashion.
Is that it?
Yeah, because like I was kind of talking about James Bond as we were talking about Superman.
Yeah, James Bond. I
Like,
think this is the one
classic. It's a classic.
It
track.
is classic. This is the one I have the least notes on. So, I wrote Crisis Opening because it just starts very crisis-like. Overall, because the overall is very similar. It sounds like a man on the run, and he's very outsmarting. That's all I wrote.
Then we move on to the Alien main title,
Yes.
and that has a very sinister vibe. Like it's a very good like opening movie moment. Like there's our flashing credits as like something sinister. Like the theory of what if aliens have planted us here on Earth, and that's the vibe I get from the song. Okay. It's like aliens are planting something here on this Earth.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Going through this, I said like the beginning, because it's like it's slow and it builds up. So the beginning, it just feels like something old.
Mm-hmm.
It's ancient. We're looking around something, and whatever we're looking around, it's beautiful. But then the music changes. Something lurks in the dark, and it's very curious about what's going on. Now that's not actually how it happens in the movie, but that's what I pictured when I was listening to that, especially the second half of the song, where is what I remember the most.
And then we have the Spider-Man 2 main title.
Yes.
Did I listen to the first and third one in conjunction with this? No, but I will say this. In watching the Spider-Man movies, by the way, McGuire, for those who don't have brains, I just the movie starts with 3 minutes of credits, and here's the thing: a very over dramatic title score, very, very over dramatic.
But I love it,
especially watching it for the first time. Like, there should be something happening, but there's not. Nothing's happening. It's freaking credits.
But like it's showing you like the history of the character with the credits as well. There's imagery to go with it.
Number 2. I
yes.
Yeah, what number 1 was.
Nothing.
But I'm just like, this is so stirring for nothing.
But it's stirring.
It's stirring, but it's just like, I'm waiting for movie to start, and movie is not starting. What? Help me. It's so dramatic. And even listening to that, like, and at least, now that I've seen the movie twice, now that I've listened to said track a few times, it doesn't feel as unfamiliar. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't feel like as much of like it encroaching on me. But it's still like, wow. All this for freaking opening credits. Yeah. I hate to be so much like this, but I am. Okay. Sorry.
Here's what I wrote. Sad. But there is work to be done. Making my way. I'm downtown. There. Yeah, I'm there. Now we fight cinematically. Evil takes the upper hand. Not yet. Good fights back. They win. But at what cost?
I mean, you can't lie. That kind of is Spider-Man. It's like many films.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, I win, but at what cost? I lost Aunt May or whatever.
So it would be interesting if I gave you my notes and you listen to the song while reading my notes. If you could catch where the stuff is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that, but it is an interesting experiment.
The Battle of the
Pelennor Fields. That's Lord of the Rings.
Pelennor. Yes. This one. All these songs are relatively distinct in their own way, but also this one is, in my mind, the most unique.
It's
I
not
really
a
like
theme.
the sound of. It's not a theme, but I really like this. The track is longer than I would expect because it feels like a build-up than the actual battle of a track. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for a build-up of a sound of a song, it being like 3 or 4 minutes, I'm just like, that's long. If it's the actual battle, then as this title assumes, then wow. It doesn't feel so much like the actual battle music. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. And I know exactly where this piece comes in.
Right.
And you're right. It is a build-up.
Yeah. It's a great track. Great build-up. Like it a lot. And also it being kind of a unique instrumentally.
I love this moment in the film so much. It's just so emotional. And it's great. So my notes were preparing for battle, war drums, finding the courage to fight. The courage is found. Let's start moving slowly. Then charge, facing battle and their demise. They're winning, it's looking good. And then we go into the Godzilla one, which, to me, the story takes a turn.
Again, there's a unique aspect in this, as this track has a heavy choir, gang vocal-esque vibe to it, where yes, there is like it shifts kind of idea where it's like if the alien theme was over dramatic, I guess, you know,
Right.
Like if whatever events happened in Alien took a turn for the worse, this is the Godzilla main title. That's my. It's a little. This is not meant to sound ironic,
right?
But it's a little over dramatic for my taste. Why I say that's dramatic? Because ironic because I listen to metal. What I'm just saying is that like it's just such a stark contrast from like the rest of these songs, where this is just it sounds like wow kind of moment. And I feel like this is definitely like one of the tracks like I would almost have to see the movie to truly appreciate the music when seeing the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, to clarify, outside of metal, I do like over dramatic stuff. It's just like it's hard to appreciate the track without context.
Right.
I appreciate it. I can't appreciate it like on its own for listening leisure.
Right. Part of it is that this theme is the original theme for the old movie that came out in 1954. And for this like American remake, the composer decided to redo the theme for a much more epic scale, which is something I really wanted to happen. And I was I was so happy when I saw this movie. It was like,
awesome.
They're doing the music. Oh my gosh. Anyway, here's my notes. Oh no. Something's here. Prepare the defenses against this new entity. It's approaching. Hurry up and get ready. It's almost here. It's here. it's too much for us to handle.
Nice. I'm going to be honest. If I hear Raiders March, I will remember it. Off the top of my head, I don't.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum.
Okay. That's pretty iconic. Again, where do I remember it? That I know it's iconic, I don't know. I really don't.
Right.
I like, again, the Bond, the Indiana Jones. Where have I heard these things that I recognize that I legitimately have no absolute freaking idea. But there is like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, no, it's iconic. I kind of don't have that much more to say. There's a little more like a spring in its step of a track.
Right.
Especially compared to Bond, where again it says march. You know, there's a bit of a spring in the step when you march than when you're running away from a car.
Right.
Yeah.
My notes in this one was fun. Like it went all over the place.
Okay.
So it says, okay, come and have fun with me. Here's what's on this adventure. Let's go together. Series of different journeys. That was fun. There's something missing in my life. I'm so lonely. Here's where it gets weird. Okay. It's okay, buddy. You've always got me. Yeah, you're right. Want to have more fun? Yes. Off together again. The adventures continue. I'm satisfied.
Oh, John, here's something. I love you. Okay. And
I was surprised by that, but yeah.
Also with the Batman theme.
Oh.
Remind me. That one's going to be harder to recognize, but...
Probably. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, ba-da-da, bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum.
You should just do this for all the songs. I love this. Yeah, that... I feel like if like there was a track that I would feel like goes before this, it would be the Alien main title. Why do I keep going back to that? I think I just like it.
Right.
But that's actually what I was gonna say. Like when the end credits for The Dark Knight Rises hit, I recognized the theme when the credits hit.
Mm.
But I don't remember it.
Bum, bum, bum.
I think the issue is that I get too engaged with the story. I don't notice the music.
Right.
There are definitely a few times when I noticed the lack of music, which then you notice that like, oh my gosh, there's a reason for that, and it makes the scene more intense. But it's like I couldn't. Point is, you were talking about like the Batman theme, or at least a theme that people have used that that the new Batman doesn't heavily incorporate. Which a friend said it more or less incorporates the Nirvana song than anything else. Regardless. Like a few notes from the Nirvana song for the Batman theme.
Okay.
But so like I don't know necessarily, like I can't think like off the top of my head like Batman theme. Like I could probably pull out my brain Superman theme easier than Batman theme. Doesn't matter which Batman.
Right.
Zimmer or Elfman. Like I just... So it's not sticking with me. I haven't gone back to the Zimmer soundtrack for the Nolan Batmans.
You'll hear it in the battle mix.
Copy. Sweet. I'm excited.
But yeah, So you were talking about how the Spider-Man one, like the music is too epic for nothing happening. There's less happening in this one.
Okay.
So, yes.
I'm so sorry. Go into the Spider-Man ones. Like, no, obviously, like, that's one of the few tracks of this I've seen. But just like, dare I say, bias coming into this
Right.
tape. I'm like, PTSD.
Okay. So, here's what I wrote for Batman.
Okay.
Figure stands watch. It is revealed. Time for action. Evil doers beware. They run in fear. There's a sadness to this figure. What is the mystery? Figure working up to climactic showdown. It's there's not much thoughts to this.
Mm-hmm. By the way, for those, let's just clarify. This is the Elfman Batman theme.
Yes, the
Zimmer.
1989 Batman one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not bad. Like, at the end of the day, none of these tracks are bad.
There's not a lot to say about it, because part of it is there was nothing for it in the movie. It was the opening credits. But still.
Gotcha. Time by Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, these next two songs I have like together as a story.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's really interesting because my brain, Time is such of a the end song. You know what I mean?
And it is.
It is. So it was hard for me listening to this transitioning into Yoda's theme.
Right.
Because Time is such of a the end song and Yoda's theme means nothing to me. I'll just give quick thoughts on both, I guess, since you have them together. Again, Time is iconic but the thing is, it's because of the movie.
Mm.
If I heard this piece on its own, I can't guarantee I would feel the same. I might. Sometimes it happens when you hear something instrumental and beautiful. It's like, oh my gosh. But that doesn't always happen because honestly, my brain kind of reverts instrumental music as background music. I don't mean that in a bad way because I love my ambient music. Remember Salt of Sound in my top tracks of 2021? Like, I love ambient music. I love instrumental stuff. Sanctuary song. But yeah, no, it's because of the movie why said track stands out. I just like that soundtrack of the movie in general, which is, dare I say, basic but understandable. No, because I feel like there's an element where the soundtrack is part of the movie. Not that it never is ever, period. It's just the fact where, we have our French song.
Mm.
That's part of the plot of the movie. You know what I mean? And they incorporate that into, Zimmer incorporates that into his music. And then the music being as intense and beautiful as it is, like it seeps into you. Again, for one who's essentially most movies I've seen is Marvel movies and Christian movies, there's not a lot of scores that have stuck with me. And so Inception is one of the few where it's just like, this is something else. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, yeah. Yoda's theme, simply because Yoda's in the freaking title, yes, I think of a wise man-esque sound. Because I know that's who Yoda is. But there is a very beautiful quality to the song where it's peaceful. It's almost like greenery around, which again, because I know Yoda is green, then I just think green. But no, it is a beautiful track. Yeah, obviously, again, out of all these tracks, Time literally stands out because of what it seeps down into me due to the movie. But wow, sorry. So it's easier to talk about time than any of the other songs. But yeah, no, Yoda's theme was beautiful. I liked it. The first time it didn't really stand out to me, but as I was like listening to it before doing the podcast, like a few times, like this is really cool. Not like, oh my gosh, drop dead, like but just like this is beautiful.
And so here's my 2 notes for the 2 songs, and this is one story that I'm trying to like reflect here. So Inception. Somber reflection after events. Thinking about different things. The good, the bad, the in-between. Now that it's over, what should I do now? Thinking it through. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move on. This is what I leave behind. What will I tell my friends? Then I go into the Star Wars one. It's time to say goodbye. I'm going on a journey. There's no need to be sad. Think of all the fun times we had together. Keep them in your memory, and I'll always be there. This is goodbye. I have to go. Walking away. Taking a look back for one last time. Gone.
Sorry to go back to time, but just a thought. When I was watching the movie third time a couple weeks ago, I noticed there's some score at the beginning incorporating the notes of time, but obviously in a more somber, less hopeful way. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like my brain is like, that kind of sounds like time. Obviously, not really, but you know what I mean, right? I'm just like, that's really interesting. Again, that almost is like reflective of like just Nolan in general, of like hinting at the future at the beginning. Yeah, that's the thought there. Okay, so I would say my favorite out of all this new for me would be the alien theme.
Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know why, but I just like that vibe, that sinister sound of the track. Like it sticks for some reason.
That was one I wasn't sure about, but okay.
Because I think like once you kind of told me to start picturing things, I wasn't really able to capitalize on how I feel because we know I struggled to feel.
How you feel is like an afterthought after you visualization.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I struggle with the emotional side of things, so that's hard for me. But at least of what I'm kind of like picturing, it's just like, yeah, so as a result, Alien just kind of really stuck out to me. I also, again, like this, the Lord of the Rings. I think, like in the general, like this is great music. I would pick Lord of the Rings. In terms of I think I'm gonna listen to this again. It's the Alien theme. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And I assume overall favorite is time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, which feels so unfair.
No, like it's logical.
It's very logical. Yeah. But at least for the new tracks, Alien theme is probably the one I would choose to go back to. But in a general like quality, I really like the Lord of the Rings. So that's my top 3 right there.
Cool.
Yeah. And then kind of for the nostalgia aspect would be Superman, James Bond, Indiana Jones, sonically. Yeah. That's its honorary category. speaking of score, you sent me the Spider-Man video that most people have probably seen by this point. The three Spideys swinging, but this music makes it 10 times better. Which I've constantly saw in my YouTube recommended. Never watched it until you sent it to me. I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. Which uses a Spider-Man
But like,
thing.
so the thing is, like, this is exactly what I was telling you when we did our review.
What we're wanting.
Like, that I really wanted it. It was like, hey, like, they really should have done this. This was the perfect moment for that. And then it's like, I'm glad I'm not the only person who thought that. And so I was waiting for this type of video to come out. And it did.
I kind of wish the Spider-Man notes were a little more subtle, but prevalent. You know what I mean? It's very much like a if you know, you know moment. But if you know, you're definitely gonna know. Obviously I think it was deliberately so over accentuated in the video because that's what people wanted. But yeah, no, I do agree that, like, in general, whatever. Now, not to say that I knew any of the themes well, period, but none of them stuck out to me at all during the movie. Heroes or villains. Like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's Electro's theme.
Because they were barely in the movie.
They were barely.
If at all.
Yeah. So to have something a little stronger would have been cooler. And yeah, I agree. That would have been the moment. But at least for that video, I felt like it was a little too strong, too obvious. So I would have liked it a little more subtle. But yeah, that would have been really cool for that to have been the score. Why it wasn't, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm so disappointed. If there's one thing to be disappointed about in that movie, that's it. I could care less about continuity. The music is just the biggest letdown in my life.
Yeah, seriously, I do agree. Like, in general, like, why didn't they try to incorporate the themes more? Like, why didn't you pull a Last Jedi on us? Maybe that failed so bad that, well, then again, it wasn't really Disney for this. Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know what Michael's thinking.
So, have you revisited the Batman soundtrack or not?
I have not. No.
Okay, so again, that one friend I was talking about who hates Marvel now, essentially, has been obsessed with the new Batman movie. He's one of those, like, Snyder fans. Like, we want Snyderverse
one of those
fans.
Snyder fans.
Yeah. Like, okay, so in the Oscars, we had a moment where they recognized the most fan cheer-worthy moment. They clarified previously that this is technically not an Oscar award, it's just a recognition. A handful of scenes were voted upon, ironically, throughout the years. So that included the Avengers Endgame final battle, Avengers Assemble moment. So the main three I'm going to mention, that moment, the Spidey swinging, and the Justice League moment, which relating to the Flash. You know what I'm talking about. I don't. Snyder Justice League moment.
Yes.
I bet you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what that is. Point is, they put it to vote on Twitter, whatever, you know. The Snyder thing won. And he was so over the moon about it. He's like, it beat out Marvel or whatever, which, yes, it did. And that's awesome and whatever. Here's the thing. You had two iconic Marvel scenes go at each other. Obviously, they're not going to win. You know what I mean? like yeah, it's like a presidential. No, that is not. Wow, where did that come from? Because that is the complete opposite. But point is, you say you have 10 DC fans and 10 Marvel fans. All 10 DC fans are voting for the Snyder scene. 5 of the Marvel fans vote for one scene, and the other 5 Marvel fans vote for the other scene. So the DC thing wins, which is awesome. Congrats. DC needs a win in their life. But he was just like, it beat out Marvel. The Marvel fans weren't dedicated enough. No, use your facts and logic. He called the movie an Oscar-winning movie. I don't know if it won in the Oscars or not, but that specific one, it wasn't enough. He's just like so obsessed, and it just pisses me off. You know what I mean? It's just like chill. You know, just enjoy it.
I mean, when I think about all those scenes, I do think Snyder is the better, but better cinematography-wise, better story-wise. Because the other ones, they happen.
They do.
The music don't assist them as well as they should. It does better in Endgame, not so much in Spider-Man, because that's just reusing Holland's theme. But we're past that discussion.
No, I thought, first off, I don't know why they decided to do movies that weren't 21.
I have no idea.
I'm like, why are we talking about Endgame and some other movie from 2005 or whatever?
The Oscars are weird.
And I'm like, darn you Marvel fans for cheering in theaters. That's the whole reason why this award exists. And then also the ironic thing about Snyder's cut not being in theaters, quote, cheer-worthy moment. Hey, I'm not mad. I just don't like extremists. I guess that's my issue. I don't like extremists. So congrats, DC fans, on your win.
I mean,
maybe Snyderverse will.
Snyder fans are so extreme to the point that they're paying to have billboards in New York in front of the Discovery offices saying "Restore the Snyderverse."
Really?
So
that's amazing.
And Discovery people, they're aware of this. They know there's money in this. Well, Warner Brothers is like, those pigs, why are they doing that? Stop it. There's such a big contrast because they're on two different sides of on the States.
That is amazing.
It is.
Bro, I love that. Because I'm a K-pop fan, and so K-pop fans will do similar things too. And so to hear that the DC fans, Snyder fans, are doing this makes me so happy. And
they know that doing it over at Warner Brothers isn't going to get anything to happen because Warner Brothers doesn't care. But Discovery, things could happen. Who knows?
Honestly, I really feel bad for DC. Like, how many L's Warner Brothers has given them? It's so sad. So sad.
It's such a thing.
Such a thing. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Yeah. We'll see what goes on.
I don't know if you know this, but in South Korea, we have talking trucks.
Okay.
So, say presidential election happens, there will be a truck. At the very least, it will have speakers. It'll drive slowly through a neighborhood, repeating said propaganda. Maybe it'll have banners on the truck. Maybe even freaking television screens, LED screens on it, flashing whatever. I've even seen a few of those trucks with dancing models in the back of them as the truck moves. So K-pop fans will do that. They will buy out these trucks, drive them around the company building, demanding for stuff. So, Snyder fans, maybe you should do that.
I mean, they did buy a truck, have it parked in front of the building with a sign that says "Restore this. Bring back these actors for these specific characters. Make this movie happen."
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Yo, if seriously, I will admit though, I don't know how I'll feel if Marvel fans start doing that for like Amazing Spider-Man 3. I feel like that's just over the top at that point. Like Snyder, I kind of get. You know what I mean? I kind of. But also, here's another thing. With Morbius being so bad, do we really want another Amazing Spider-Man 3? Do we really want that? No, we don't. We don't. Let's admit it.
But like, I also just want to see that character with a concluded story.
Me too. But if Sony's last 4 Marvel movies have been rated rotten, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Morbius essentially screwing up what the MCU decided to conclude on Vulture. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, no, I don't want Sony to. But one guy behind Morbius said, we shall find out what Spidey is of their universe. So we shall see.
Yeah, such a bizarre thing. So bizarre.
Sony needs to screw off. Seriously.
Go back to making video games. That's what you're good at.
And
animated movies.
And cameras.
Their animated stuff is good. I will say that.
I wouldn't trust them with a Marvel animated thing at this point.
Into the Spider-Verse. That's Sony.
Oh, crap. I forgot about that. Oh.
Besides that, yeah.
How is that good and Morbius not? Why don't you just invest all your time and energy into Spider-Verse and not freaking Spider-Man Extended Universe? Seriously, I wouldn't be mad about that. Not that I'm crazy about, but I don't like the fact that they're trying to be the next MCU. No, just do your Spider-Verse stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very well.
Why? I really because obviously, here's the thing. It's one thing for Morbius to exist. It's another thing for the fact that they want it to be MCU canon eventually. You know what I mean? That's the disgusting part. Not to mention that you have to drag Michael Keaton into this, and I bet this is the last thing he wants to do. He doesn't know what's happening. I remember there's some interview last year that released. He said, I don't understand how this multiverse works. And now I understand what he's saying. Of course he doesn't understand because none of us do.
Like he not only is he doing multiverse for Marvel, he's doing multiverse for DC.
Yeah.
And so like he doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, they're paying me to do this. I'll do it. Sure.
Poor guy.
I mean, I understand multiverse because
yeah, but not how Morbius is doing it.
No.
Oh, the Doctor Strange thing took Vulture into this universe. No, it didn't.
See,
Morbius was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
That brings me with a very interesting theory.
Okay.
Which I don't think it's true at all.
Uh-huh.
But I think would work well.
Uh-huh.
Doctor Strange. He thinks he put on a spell.
Uh-huh.
That makes people forget.
Uh-huh.
What the spell actually does is everyone who remembers is sent to a different universe and is replaced. Happy? Yes, everyone is replaced.
Mm-hmm.
With new memories.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be interesting.
It would be interesting. What?
But, they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If this was Marvel Studios deciding to screw up with stuff, you know what I mean, like this, that's one thing. But, no. And then also not to mention, like, that fans noted about, Vulture's Heart of Change, which I've not done a character study on, so I'm not completely on board, but if they say that probably they're not that wrong. The fact that now he wants to have revenge on Spider-Man. In a universe where we don't even know which Spider-Man exists.
Mm.
Let's set up a Sinister Six now. Yay!
No trouble trying to get home to my family. His main,
Gosh. You would think he would have that Sandman-esque.
Because like that is his main motivation for his family in the movie.
That was. He just wanted Spider-Man out of the way. That's all.
How does he know Spider-Man did this? We don't know. It's convoluted just to make up a movie.
I'm still blown away by the fact that they did not trust their movie enough that they freaking spoiled the post-credit scenes in their freaking trailer.
Mm.
That's how little faith Sony has.
Yeah, but no one's watching it anyway now.
It barely made 40 million in the US in the weekend, which
that's something.
I can't believe it even made 40 million. I was hoping for lower.
I hope you fail so you don't make any more movies.
Yeah. Comparison, Uncharted did like 50 million or something. So this was an interesting stat though. Venom 2 did better than Eternal first week. I think Venom 2 made 90 million and Eternals did 70 million.
See, that makes sense.
Makes sense because that's a sequel and people are like, oh, and Eternals nobody cared about. I bet some people care now, but nobody cared enough initially.
Mm.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's just interesting comparing these figures. That's all. I just like these kind of stats. That's all.
You stat man?
Yeah, I'm stat man.
Mm. Ow, stop it.
Sorry, John. I didn't mean to do that.
It's not you. It's my cat.
I know it's cat. I almost want. Do you know how? I'm not gonna lie. Do you know how tempted I am to see Morbius? Like my aunt now, like my expectations are like so high for it to be bad. Like I want to feel disappointment, John.
See, I'll probably see it when it comes down the dollar theater.
Oh, you would actually pay to see it like that?
$1. Yes.
Still, the fact that you would add $1 extra to Sony's bank account,
and you know exactly why.
Because you wouldn't see it otherwise.
No.
Then I don't know why.
You'd forget because of Matt Smith, that actor that you don't know.
Yeah, the said actor I don't know, and he's in the movie, and you want to see him.
Yes, I want to see that actor because I love that actor.
Gotcha. Yeah, oh man, seriously, I swear, I'm so tempted to see it in theaters just to see how bad it is.
You know,
it's funny how more anxious I am to see Morbius in theaters than the Batman. Isn't that freaking crazy? That's stupid. That's because
Morbius. Right there. It's because like Morbius is a train wreck, and you want to see how that looks. Batman's good, but like you'll wait to see good.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I just want to get Morbius over with.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna wait. There's no way I'm spending money on it. I just want to get it. I've been tempted enough to watch like a theater cam of it. But like I watched a theater cam of No Way Home after seeing No Way Home. And the camera couldn't focus. Obviously every camera is different, right? But so every theater cam would be different, but it didn't focus like during the dark scenes in like Doctor Strange's basement. And I bet like 85% of Morbius is dark scenes. So I'm not going to see a darn thing. So I'm like, it's just not worth it.
You wouldn't see a darn thing for Batman either. Hey.
Yeah. But I'm going to wait for good.
Yeah, I'm excited. That comes out this month on HBO Max.
This month. What day?
I am going to assume I'm going to say the 21st.
Okay.
I can actually probably look this up right now. And it'll tell me. But that's my guess. If not, it's the 14th.
Here's the thing. Like, I know Morbius is going to be good. I don't know if the Batman's going to be good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sorry, did I say Morbius is going to be good? I meant bad. But Batman, like, I know most people like it. But there's still a few people that have put doubt. But it's also such a unique film that I don't know what to expect for it. Especially coming off the Nolan stuff. It's like, am I going to be disappointed? So I'm scared.
It's not telling me.
By the way, the Batman made 700 million worldwide at this point.
That sounds nice.
Telling me. Now I want to make a crappy movie like Morbius, slap Marvel in it, and see how much money I make.
Right.
A Marvel legend. Shut up!
Okay, so around that time. The next few weeks. That's what we'll say.
Thank you a lot, John. That is very descriptive.
I had to look that up. I knew this off the top of my head, but I had to look it up anyway. You know, I used to be so into Doctor Who.
And then?
I don't really watch it anymore. It's kind of a shame.
CJ still seems to be watching Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Which it's just entertaining, like scrolling through Twitter and I see a random tweet of his about Doctor Who. I'm like, interesting.
Like,
I don't care.
So I'll see him being like, I'm so hopeful and excited for this. And then you get to the last episode of the season and he's like, things could have been done better. It's like, okay. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've really been watching it. And it's a shame because it used to consume me. Where that was the only thing I cared about.
Rip.
How we grow up. They got replaced by ponies, pretty much.
And what's your current obsession?
Nothing.
Yeah. What'd be the closest thing to obsession? Daredevil?
No. The closest thing to obsession. Well, I don't know.
So it's essentially been a month.
I guess like Mandalorian. To the Star Wars shows.
Okay. So essentially, my brain died. Why? So it's essentially been a month of PureFlix.
Yes. I think, honestly, this experiment would go so much better if I didn't have all my other accounts going.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Because I feel more inclined to watch other stuff.
Right.
Than go through PureFlix.
Right.
So if I didn't have all the other stuff and I just chose PureFlix, that would be a much better experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I wouldn't watch anything.
That makes sense.
It'd be interesting.
So you're only doing PureFlix for a month, correct?
Correct.
Until the next time you decide to do it again. So are you going to move on to a different platform? Or are you going to just enjoy what you have?
See, I could go to Disney Plus, but I'll probably wait till May to do that.
Wait for OB and Moon Knight?
It's just like May, because like Moon Knight
finished by then.
Yeah, plus like I think I would have more use of it during May.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now I'm doing my other stuff. So
right, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
By the way, my Hulu still hasn't been canceled yet.
Cool.
So I've been going on free for Hulu for like, I don't know, 3 months, and I don't use it, but I have it. I just the fact that there's ads. Here's the thing, like I watched like a couple movies that only like had a couple ads at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched Logan with one of my friends, and we're watching together. And all of a sudden he's like, pause. And I'm like, what the frick? He's like, there's a freaking ad. I'm like, no, there isn't. He's like, yes, there is. So I guess apparently for like bigger movies, they'll have ads throughout the movie. And then for like no name movies, there'll be only the ads at the beginning, and then you can watch in peace. So I'm like, well, now I don't want to watch a movie on Hulu, and I already don't want to watch TV
That's strange,
shows.
because like I've never had ads in the middle of a movie during
Really?
Hulu. Yeah, it's always in the beginning, and then you had the rest of the movie.
Dang. Why Logan then? Why out of all movies, freaking Logan?
Granted, I don't watch many movies on Hulu.
Right. Still. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like I had thought about, because people seem to like the Only Murderers in This Building show. So I have been intrigued to see it. But then I'm like, you know what? I think I'll just wait till it hits Disney Plus so I don't have to deal with the ads.
Okay.
That's my thought.
That's your thought. I mean, good thoughts, except when Disney Plus starts putting in ads.
Then let's hope that I have the tier that doesn't have ads.
Let's be honest. We don't.
Expound.
I'm just saying, it's like they'll probably just be stupid and just like, more money. You have the lowest level.
Okay, like I could see that. I could see that.
Because
But
like they don't have any promotionals for Disney Plus. They don't have 70% off. It's like, nope, you just get this. No deals.
Mhm.
Hulu gives you all the deals. Netflix charges you for no reason.
Netflix just needs to stop.
My goodness.
I feel like Netflix is for like, they have like niche stuff which keeps some people on their platform.
Right. But like we're running out of things.
Right. They're
that
constantly
we haven't
stuff.
already seen before. So
what is it? It's Netflix that has the rights to Narnia. What's up? Come on. Hey. Not that I'm excited.
I mean,
I'm just like, do something.
They're working on their live action Avatar The Last Airbender series.
Somehow that's more important.
Which has been in production for years now.
Oh, has it? I didn't know that.
It has. It's been a long time since they announced that.
Really? I did not know that. Because the first I heard about it was when they started announcing cast. But that shows how much I knew anything about it.
It was announced in 2018.
Dang.
It's been 4 years. Nothing new.
But Narnia was around that same time too, though, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so speaking of that, what's your thoughts? I probably asked you and I completely forget the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that show.
Yeah.
I'm cautious until I see it.
Yeah, makes sense. At the end of the day, I hope it's good. But
I mean, we'll see.
I'm not hopeful.
We'll see. The Amazon stuff of late has been kind of more adultish.
Mm-hmm. What, they hired an intimacy coordinator for this? I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which doesn't always mean sex, but it could. So
no, but like of all the main things, like we have The Boys, which is very graphic. We have Invincible, which is very graphic. Most recently, Legend of Vox Machina, which is very graphic. So, they got a little bit of a track record of things, and I don't know what to do. So, when it comes out, we'll see.
It really is a case of, do we want to appeal to the general audience, or do we want to do what we want to do?
That's Honor Tolkien. That's what I say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Especially
Honor
when you're touching
Tolkien,
delicate things like this.
New Zealand.
So, his estate should also be working in tandem with this, correct?
I mean, his estates give certain rights. I think there's certain things about it.
Because I know with the fourth, that didn't happen, but fourth Narnia movie, there was it Lewis's nephew, but he couldn't. The studio wouldn't agree with him, so he said no movie, essentially.
Okay.
So I'm curious what would be the case with Tolkien. Like, is there like that one person who's like, no, we're not doing that kind of thing? Yeah. And then now I'm curious with Netflix, like what did that entail with the buying of the rights of the Narnia stuff? Does the nephew have say in this or not? So
Right.
It's we'll see when we get there kind of thing.
I'm not looking forward to the Avatar thing.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a remake of the show. It's live action. The casting choice is very questionable because certain age, because like they're changing the ages of characters, which are like
really.
Yeah. On top of that, the original showrunners left the show because of some
thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's not a good sign.
I don't know. I don't care. But anyway, this is getting long. We should probably wrap this up.
Should we?
Yes.
But John, once we stop recording, we just stare into emptiness and don't talk.
Well, that's a whole week away.
What if I don't want to wait a week?
Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.